Scooby Dooby Doo, ba dooby dooby, oh Scooby Dooby Doo, ba dooby dooby, Scooby Dooby Doo, ba dooby dooby doo. Hey, so hi. All right, everybody's coming in now. Digital Gold, good to see you, pal. Let's see if we actually get the notification sent out for this stream, because we know how well it went last time. Hey, Chrome. Let's see. Oh, I don't know. Is Wolverine still here? You just said bye. Hey, Stewie. And Nate, good to see you. Thanker, good to see you again, pal. This, for any of you guys who, Obi-Wan's in, and Christopher Dawson, Eski, hey, boss. Communist Stalin. Stalin, that's cool. Wallace Spellman. Yeah, for any of you who weren't in the earlier stream, this came up, and that's why we decided we wanted to have a second stream. I don't have as much time as I'd like to spend on this, but as many of you know, freedom of speech over in the UK is kind of under attack, in that people are being actually arrested for jokes or arrested for certain, I guess, stating things in certain manners that are seen as vulgar. And we're having a conversation about what our opinions were on that. And I'd like to get more of a feel for all of you guys and what you think about it. In other words, is there a line to be crossed with freedom of speech outside of the existing and obvious incidents, such as, again, nobody thinks that you should be able to have the freedom of speech allow you to call for violence towards other, or call for others to be demeaned or refused any type of acceptance or anything like that outside of that. So I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay, Stalin. Yeah, the cops and government here are cunts. Yeah, well, Chrome's in the UK, and that's what we got talking about earlier. Oh my gosh, what's the YouTuber's name, Chrome? His name went out of my head. Oh, isn't that terrible? Well, it was all of, an hour and a half ago that we were talking about it, so I guess it's too much for me to be expected to remember it that long. Then I'll leave it right here. The answer is no. Good chat, guys. Tom says, well, I'm in agreement with you, Tom. Hey, Landon, good to see you again. Count Dankula, thanks, Chrome. Yeah, Count Dankula just, I guess from what the gang here is telling me, I didn't get a chance in between streams to look it up, but nobody would make it up. I guess he got a healthy fine. What was it, about $1,200 US, because he was joking. He made some jokes on his channel, on his YouTube channel, in relation to his dog, I guess, giving kind of a Zig Heil or something as a reaction to him saying Nazi-esque type language. Christopher Dawson says it could depend. Well, expand, Christopher. What do you mean? It could depend on what? This is what we're here for. We want to have that conversation. That would be, if you believe it could depend, that's a very important factor. Depend on what? Point to the British Union of Fascists as a reason I believe that hate speech should be allowed. The British Union of Fascists. See, I'm not familiar with them, Joseph. Is that? I'm not sure from which direction they would be speaking. I don't know who the group is. You have no idea just how bad it is, Chrome says. Hate speech laws in the UK basically mean that free speech doesn't exist. Again, that's what I'm starting to see, Chrome, and that's a lot what inspired this whole conversation and this whole stream, because like everybody else, I have my belief systems. I have things I believe in, things I don't believe in, whatever the case may be. However, it takes a lot to motivate me to where I'd get off my dead ass and get into the streets about it. If that was happening over here in the US, I'd be out in the streets. I'd be out protesting every element of government I could. Anybody who had anything to do with it in any way at all. Let's see. You think the first stream was stressful, Thanker? We were watching vids. How can that be stressful? Have you considered having a viewer on to keep the discussion more streamlined rather than jumping from one point to point while reading chat? I'm not sure what you're saying, unoriginal pun. I don't know how you would have, in this situation here, how you would have one viewer on. And in the other streams, we jump from point to point on purpose. That's part of the fun of the streams. This one, we have one topic we're talking about, but for the most part, we do that on purpose. Basically, what happened... Oh, okay, Joseph is going to explain. Basically, what happened, they rose to power during the Depression, but that fell apart when they gave them a mic and told them to explain their beliefs and their plans. Yeah, see, I'm not familiar. I'm not familiar there. I guess makes me angry when on Discord I get banned for politely disagreeing with ideas. Not on our Discord, right? Might play Yellow Horse, because that's not how our mods handle things. But I get what you're saying, or in any social media at all. And you see that a lot. There's a lot of places where you'll just, if you have a different point of view, particularly if you can make a strong point with that differing point of view, then you're just let go. Freedom of speech is important, but at a certain level. Well, for me, Tirthankar, that's what we're talking about. If people have an issue with it at a level, that's what we're trying to get to. What level do you find it no longer, that freedom should no longer exist? For me, I don't think it should exist for anything outside of what I outlined, which is already illegal, at least here in the U.S., which is promoting violence towards someone else, towards any other group, or in any way intentionally trying to bring harm or deny someone else their basic rights. That type of speech I don't think should be legal, because it serves no purpose. I mean, all you're going to do is create more discord and possibly get somebody killed. So, but again, that's already illegal. So I think most people are being wildly oversensitive, Max City. Yes, and that's one of the reasons we're having that conversation. I'm curious how many people agree with me. Yes. Threats and calls to illegal action are already illegal. Exactly, Derek. That's what I'm saying. So I think the system we have right now, as it's stated right now, is one of the few things in the U.S. I think we do well. I think that's how it should be. But we see it here in the U.S. a lot. I mean, look at how people react today, even differently from as little as 10 years ago, when they hear speech that they don't like. Immediately, now this is not everybody, but there's a sector of society that will call for it to be shut down. You hear it all the time. You hear it all the time at different protests. Hate speech is not free speech. Now, you have to define hate speech. If hate speech is the espousing of political views, extremists on either side, whether it's white supremacists or Black Panthers or far leftists or far rights, if they're espousing their beliefs, as distasteful as they may be, and they're not calling for anyone to be hurt in any manner, then I believe they should be allowed to speak. Influencing others indirectly to crime shouldn't be illegal, though. Only direct calls to legal action. Oh, absolutely, Derek. Yeah, and that's another thing that has come up fairly recently. I don't think that your speech, what an individual says, if someone takes that, okay, let's just use the example that so many people here in America, you have extremists on both sides of the issue of anti-Muslim sentiment. So if somebody says, listen, I think that, and again, now I'm not putting out there's my belief. This just came up recently for someone that I follow. If someone says, I don't believe that Muslim ideology works well within Western culture, and that's what was said, people have, and again, it's just doofuses online, but people have said, well, that's hate speech, and you shouldn't be allowed to say that. Does anybody agree that that should be the case? It might be incorrect. It might be completely wrong. But then to take it a step further, if somebody hears this person say that, and then they go out and they take action against somebody, that person who said it isn't responsible. Because otherwise you'd be opening up a can of worms that you could relate any crime back to anything anyone's heard anywhere. Speech can be your enemy or ally. By the way, I'm not worrying about reaction videos right now, TGTV. Thoughts on Kanye being criticized for tweeting support of Candace Owen? Yeah, that's an interesting one, Gojira. For those of you who don't know, Candace Owen is a black woman and a conservative. And Kanye West tweeted support for her. And then you had a lot of people coming out against him. Now, if people are just voicing their opinions, have at it. if they're calling for his speech or her speech to be shut down because of it, that's where it crosses the line. And then you had that idiot Tom Arnold come out and say something about her sucking a dick or this, that, because he's just a classless douchebag. And even at that, he didn't call for any type of violence against her, so I think that should be allowed. Fortunately, it seems to have gotten the type of reaction that one would hope it got, and that pretty much universally everybody vilified him. And because he's a coward, he, of course, deleted the tweet. I draw the line at actual violence. Speech is okay. Yeah, actual violence, and again, multi-horse. I'm with that completely. That's already illegal, and yes, that you shouldn't be allowed. You should not be allowed to call for violence against anybody. We were talking Candace Owens, Kanye West, Ty, and how much heat Kanye's taken because he tweeted support. Look, what about Shania Twain? Now, she's a Canadian, but she had said something in passing that if she was able to vote in America, she would have voted for Trump. And people just went ballistic on her. Went absolutely. I will say this, the far left in this country will never get over the fact that they lost that election. And it brings out a side of them that is like psychotic. Now, whether or not she actually received any threats, I don't know if that's the case. If it follows the typical norm, probably at some point. So what I don't understand is why she felt she had to backtrack and apologize to people who were offended by it. That's the part I really don't get. Why would you have to apologize for that? Regardless of what anybody thinks. If you said you would have voted for Trump, if somebody doesn't like it, who gives a shit? So don't like it. So be offended, whatever the case may be. Owen's not my favorite person, but she received a lot of heat from certain groups. Yeah, and specifically that idiot Tom Arnold. But again, in his case, I guess you could make the excuse too. He's looking for any reason to try and get some sort of relevance. And so if he can just get a little bit of controversy swirling around his name, maybe somebody will pay attention to him. Well, they're suing everyone because they lost the election. That's true, Chrome. The Democratic Party is suing the Russians, the Trump campaign, everybody, because they say they conspired to make them lose the election. So basically they're suing a bunch of people because Russians were able to trick a bunch of Americans into believing shit that wasn't true, and those Americans were too stupid to independently verify things. So that's the basic elements of their lawsuit. Muslim ideologies are insane. They oppose any other caste apart from Muslims. And now Tirthankar has every right to say that's his opinion. Does anybody think he shouldn't be allowed to say that? I don't know enough about Muslim ideology, and I try not to speak on things if I'm not 100% confident of where my opinion comes from. I know I read a lot of things from the Quran that strike me poorly, that I don't like. However, in fairness, there's a lot of stuff in the Bible that I think is crap. That's why I'm not a believer myself in living your life based on any ancient writings whatsoever. That's my opinion on that. So that throws all of them into the same category for me. No, they haven't been able to prove, and Chrome makes a very good point. They can't even prove that it had a notable impact on the election as well. Right, and everybody has said, everybody who's researched has said, no voting booths, none of the voting was compromised at all. They said that across the board. All they did was they were trolls. They trolled people into misinformation, and people bought it. Joseph Allen says, what scares me is the laws in Europe, because in these areas, these socialist paradises, there are hate speech laws that make it to where the government can silence you via the law. That's exactly what we're talking about, Joseph. That is beyond frightening to me. I don't have the words to describe how horrifying that is to me. And when I see the way America goes, I mean, we're a long way from that, I like to think. But I believe there are some serious portions of our society that wants to see that become a thing here. And again, that's something that would motivate me. I'll fight anybody, anytime, anywhere over that. That just, it's got to be terrifying. We have so many Europeans here at the channel with us. I mean, hell, the UK alone kept this channel alive for many years when it was first starting out, because we've been fortunate enough to have so many people from Europe here with us. And I see so many of you, whenever this conversation comes up at all, are just horrified by it. I don't understand how it becomes law. It just, wow. Adam says, feels like the DNC and GOP only support the FBI when it fits their agenda. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we've seen that, haven't we, Adam? Because we see them flip-flopping. We see them flip-flopping. Whoever's behind the FBI, whoever's against the FBI has flip-flopped depending on what the FBI has been currently doing. I will say this, no matter which side you're on, the FBI has some issues, because the FBI's dropped the ball a lot recently, and a lot of things have come out through this whole Russia investigation that the FBI wasn't handling business the way they should. And personally, I don't like James Comey. I don't think he's trustworthy at all, and I don't really trust much of anything he has to say. But that doesn't extend to me, to the rank and file of the FBI. I personally like to believe, even if it's nirvana-ish belief, that they're good people for the most part. I think the guy at the top was of less than fine moral fiber. Hold on, let me catch up here. Gotta say, and now I guess you can relate to the character Payne a bit. Well, I don't know about with freedom of speech to thank her. I don't know if freedom of speech would really enter into what Payne went through. Wolverine says, I believe in freedom of moist nudes. Fuck the police. But yeah, and again, when we go back to talking about the Muslims, yes, I don't like a lot of what I read that comes from the Quran. But again, you have to be fair, and I just don't believe in that. That's not my thing. I don't want to live my life. I don't want advice in my life from anything that was written centuries ago. I'm not interested in old writings as a means of navigating day-to-day modern life. George says, never agree to limiting free speech. We hate speech laws here in the UK. It's put people in prison. It's only getting worse. That's just what we're talking about, George. And that's what, and again, I know, you know, those of you in the UK that are here with us at the channel are a small sample size, but I've yet to hear anybody from the UK. And again, we have a decent number of people here, and this has come up a number of times in our live streams. I have yet to hear anybody supporting it. It just seems hard to believe that you actually, and I'm not saying this is the case, I'm just saying it seems hard to believe that in the UK there would be a majority who support limiting free speech. Chrome says, politicians here argue, and Chrome, I believe, I don't want to tell people wrong, you're in Scotland, right? I believe Chrome is in Scotland. Politicians here argue that hate speech laws protect free speech. Laughably enough, they say it protects people's right to speech. Disgustingly enough. That hate speech laws protect free speech. That's bizarre. That's absolutely asinine. I can't believe it. No notification again, BG. I've just thrown my hands up at that. This is just crazy. Yeah, from Scotland. Okay, I just wanted to tell, you know, just so people understand where you're coming from. Literally where you're coming from. Let's see. No, well, I encourage people, James, if somebody's trying to say something to me, as this chat goes, it's not too many people in here yet, but as the chat goes, it goes fast. So I just pick and choose things as they go by. So if somebody wants to get something to me, they have to put it, you know, they'll put it in every few seconds to just try and get my attention. Chad Prather makes a very strong point in his video. Don't let, this is Lance Corporal Hawk. In his video, don't let people suck the life out of you. He's 100% right. I'll have to check it out at some point. I'm not familiar with that video. Adam E. says, in California right now, you can get more legal for misgendering someone than you would for purposely giving somebody HIV. Holy hell. That's another thing, too. Now, that gets on me, too, this whole misgendering thing. Now, look, you might be hung up on your pronouns, but how is, somebody explain this to me, and this is just what Adam's talking about. If I misuse a pronoun, if I call someone who wants to be referred to as it, and I refer to them as she, as Adam says, you can get in trouble for that in California. Now, why would that be You mean I could call the same person an idiot and that's not against the law? Because it isn't. I can call you a douchebag. That's okay. But if you use the wrong personal pronoun, shut the fuck up with that stuff. I can't even take that kind of crap. Listen, if somebody calls you a pronoun you don't like, walk away from them. Walk away from them. Did it hurt your feelings? Oh, what a shame. Guess what? We all get our feelings hurt sometimes. Grow a pair and walk away from it. Jesus Christ. Again, to an extent, Colonel Gerdolf, to an extent, social context should matter a bit. Freedom of speech is fine, but that should not allow legitimately damaging comments to fly with the freedom of speech excuse. Well, now that's where you get into a gray area, Colonel, because who determines when a speech becomes legitimately damaging comment? If the left is in control, they're going to have a different view of what's legitimately damaging than if the right is in control. So I don't want to go down that slope at all. I like where the law where it is now, whereas as long as you didn't promote someone being hurt, someone being victimized in any way, then all speech is free speech. See, that's the thing that I worry about. I don't want people putting in laws like what you're talking about there. I mean, for me, legitimately damaging comments. Who is the arbiter? Who then decides what is legitimately damaging? That's where the can of worms really gets messy. Wolverine says, my gender is mod. Please treat me as such, Daddy-O. Yeah, exactly, Chrome. That would be the issue. Legitimately damaging speech. That's what I would have. That's what I would have a problem with. Who determines that? Joseph says, I'm kind of curious about those with different opinions. To quote Christina Summers, University of Massachusetts Amherst, the only diversity you don't care about is intellectual diversity. That's a good quote. That's a good quote. See, that's the way I am, Multi-Yellow Horse. Says, if you get offended, that's your own fault and problem. Yeah. I mean, so what? So people get offended. Why has that become such a dire thing in society now? I'm offended. I mean, and it's like as soon as you're offended, everybody is, or not everybody, there's a sector of society that comes rushing to your aid. And it's like, oh, you poor thing. How could you say something that offended him? Who gives a fuck you're offended? So what? I've been offended. I'm pretty sure all of you guys have been offended at different points. So what? So walk away from it. Leave it. Offend them back if that makes you happy. Tit for tat. Whatever. Who cares? The train hates you. Yes, the train clearly hates free speech, Bryce. You are 100% correct on that. Joey says, yes, I'm with you. You shouldn't be prosecuted for being grossly offensive. I completely agree. And isn't that basically what they went after that YouTuber in Scotland for? Because he was grossly offensive? Or I don't know if that's the exact terminology they use, but that's the spirit of it. And I agree. Grossly offensive? So what? Don't watch them. Don't listen to them. Hey, if you don't like them, encourage your friends. Start your own YouTube channel. Go on social media and say, hey, don't watch this guy. This is what he said. That's all fine. That's your right to freedom of speech. It's not your right to have, I don't believe, it should never be your right to have him arrested because you didn't like it. And that's where parts of Europe have gone to, and that's scary. Cheyenne says, I actually had to write a 6-page philosophy paper on this. Read John Stuart Mills's On Liberty. Really awesome freedom of speech piece. Oh, okay. I wouldn't mind checking that out. Philosophy paper on that. John Stuart Mill. Is that I'm just curious, just not that it matters, I'm just curious how current a piece is that? When was that written, Cheyenne? I love reading. I love reading pieces like that. Yeah, Count Dankula. I mean, that's just what really got me fired up about all this, what happened with Count Dankula, Derek. Let's see. Welcome to Swedish Society. Now, somebody said, oh, it went by fast. I'm sorry. Thea? Did I pronounce that right, Thea? Welcome to Swedish Society. Now, same thing in Sweden then, I take it? You have, you can be charged for speech crimes in Sweden? Thoughts on Simpsons Apu? That's an interesting one too, Turthanker. For those who don't know, somebody, what was it? Did they make a video or wrote a piece about Apu and how offensive he is? The Simpsons character Apu. I think it's complete and utter garbage. Again, if you don't like it, don't watch it. Yeah, is it a stereotype? Of course it is. Are there stereotypes everywhere in Simpsons? Yep. Everybody's a stereotype pretty much in The Simpsons. If you don't like it, don't watch it. I don't know what more they want somebody to say other than that. Should they change the character? Of course not. If you don't like it, you don't watch it. Maybe I think it's funny. I think racial stereotypes are funny. I think stereotypes of pretty much any type are funny. If you don't, who cares? Don't watch it. Let's see. Cheyenne says 1859, but it reads like it was written yesterday. That's why I asked Cheyenne, because a lot of times it's funny how you can get an older writing like that and have the world have come around. Either the world have come around or that certain inalienable things stay so much the same that it stays pertinent. Also remember, kids, facts don't care about your feelings. Indeed, I'm a big believer in that as well, Cheyenne. Well, you and I talk all the time. You know that. Yes. I believe that things should be handled, especially at the political level, handled, dealt with, based on facts, not feelings. Exactly. Chrome's got an excellent point. The fucking Scottish groundskeeper is a stereotype. Do I get offended? Fuck no. Yeah, there's no bigger stereotype in there than Willie. I couldn't remember his name for a second. Than Willie the groundskeeper. He's got every stereotype that a Scotsman could have, doesn't he, Chrome? They've pretty much covered every one over the years. But so why is it just Apu is offensive? Because that's the flavor of the day. Somebody brought it up, and you can get a bunch of people to jump on board and go, oh, "You're right. That's awful. It should change. It's been awful for 30 years, but I just realized it now." Joe Kage says, "Hey guys, and Thick Daddy, finishing up on Pornhub. Be right back." We don't want to interrupt that. That's important stuff. Yeah, member berries. It came up earlier in it's come up several times recently. We've been talking about freedom of speech, and so we wanted to have a separate stream just for it. Descartes must be rolling over in his grave. What happened to disagreeing but defending the right to say it? You're 100% right, Brother Malachi. And there is. I mean, at least in America, I don't think that this is an exaggeration at all. There is a sector of society right now that is pushing that direction. They want speech that isn't in line with their beliefs to be outlawed. And again, and when I see it over in places, over in the UK, that is, as I believe, as close an ally in the world as America has, and certainly societally very, very similar to us. And when I see it happening over there, it freaks me out a little bit. I can't believe that that would happen in the UK. I really can't. Now, somebody had mentioned something about Sweden earlier. Somebody was from Sweden. Oh, Thea. No comment. You're the racer of... okay, I lost the conversation. I was just curious. Because I missed the conversation. And I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. I know it could be Thea. Thea. She says, "Welcome to Swedish society." So I'm assuming that they have laws of that nature as well. Oh, and misquoted was Steven Crowder. I like Steven Crowder. I enjoy him. And again, just like the quote that Cheyenne used earlier was from Ben Shapiro. I like Ben Shapiro. But even then, there's nobody you agree with down the line. I mean, from off the top of my head, Ben Shapiro and I disagree on a woman's right to choose. So you pick and choose who you want to agree with, what you think, what you feel in life. But it amazes me that there are people that actually want to squash speech that they find offensive. Mark Dice, I don't know really well, Adam. I know who he is, but I don't know a lot of his take. Alex Jones, you guys know me, I'm not much on extremists. Alex Jones goes way too deep into the whole conspiracy theories and everything like that for me. So, not a huge fan. I don't hate the guy. I'm not a big fan because of those reasons. I think he gets a little too over the top. He goes too far for me. Mark Dice, I don't want to comment on because I think he's very similar to Alex Jones from what I know of him, but I don't want to comment on that without knowing really exactly what he stands for. But yes, anybody that goes to extremes is somebody that I'm not going to really follow that closely. Maya says, anyway, I'm a free speech absolutist to the point where the only language that I think should be illegal is speech that could result in injury or loss of life, such as yelling, bomb, and all. We're in 100% agreement, Mas, that's exactly where I am. Cheyenne says, next reaction stream, you need to react to Steven Crowder totally owning protesters in the crowd or bench Shapiro Thug Life compilation. I've seen both of those, Cheyenne. I really enjoy them. I like Steven Crowder, the thing he does with, and I think it's very evenly handled when he goes out with his little table and says, I am whatever. I'm pro-gun. I'm pro-gun. Convince me why I'm wrong. I think those types of conversations are absolutely fascinating. It really gets me how most of the people you see sit down with him, well, I shouldn't say most, but a good percentage of the people who sit down with him end up all pissed off and flustered, won't shake his hand, resort to just name calling and stuff. It's like, if you've got a strong stance, and to his credit, the guy sits there and he speaks with you in a calm, rational tone. So when you have to take that to screaming, yelling, and name calling, to me, you're just basically proving that what you're dealing with is just your feelings and not any facts to back it up. Brother Malachi says, P.S. Check news, by the way. Someone ran over civilians in Toronto. Not by accident, it seems. Uh-oh, here we go. Just now, you mean? Well, you said check news. Got to be. Brother Malachi said, oh, brother. I'm going to be away for just a second. Let me see if, let me just see if anybody's saying anything about it on Twitter yet. I'll be right back, guys. Let's see what's going on. Multiple injured after van plows into pedestrians in Toronto, Canada. Here we go. I mean, and already, as soon as you search it, guys, already the debate begins. Now everybody from both sides is already digging their heels in. Yeah, the first thing I see is somebody saying, I have no idea who did it. I don't know if the authorities do. I just learned of this now, so I have no idea what's going on. But immediately somebody's saying whenever someone thinks it's a Muslim act of terrorism, they immediately want to be rid of all Muslims. But as soon as a white guy shoots a bunch of people at a concert, it's the same conversation that goes every single time. That's becoming really common. See, that's I don't want to go that route because I don't want to get this off topic. I like what we're talking about. But yes, suffice to say that it's actually surprising to me. And I would never have spoken this in public before it became a thing, that the psychos weren't using that because it's much more effective than the means they typically have relied on in the past. But that's what happened. I mean, we're not gonna do guns right now. We're gonna stay on speech. Freedom of speech. Wipe. However, you deleting the vid? My plan is to not delete this. We'll see if YouTube does. If they give me a community guideline strike, I am going to, of course, confront them on it. I'm going to challenge them on it. If it's demonetized, I don't care. It'll definitely be demonetized. I don't care. I'd rather leave it. I'd rather leave it up. Let's see. Chris, you remember the German Netz DG? I thought we learned that freedom of speech is important, but it seems like we did. Embarrassing. I don't. The German, I'm not familiar with that before. German, no, I'm not familiar with that. I'll watch for you, though, to learn more about it. Cheyenne says, Ben Shapiro's event here she's at Georgetown University, got snowed out, and everyone joked that snowflakes finally defeated him. That's right. I forgot it got snowed out. That's right. The snowflakes finally got him. That's good. I hadn't heard that. But that I had forgotten that his event got snowed out there. Yeah. Now, the N-word's a good example too. I don't use it. I don't like it. And I'm somebody, I don't even believe in the idea of curse words. I think the idea of curse words is idiotic. I think not being able to say shit, but being able to say poop. The little kid says poopy, everybody thinks it's cute. The little kid says shit, everybody's freaking out. It means the same thing. Get over it, idiots. However, the N-word, I don't use simply because it has no other meaning than to demean someone else. So I don't use it. What I do believe is by having to say the N-word instead of actually being able to say the actual word, I think all you've done is give it more power. Because now the people who want to demean others are still going to use that word, but now you've given it more power by trying to take it out of the lexicon. I think we go about things completely ass backwards sometimes in how we approach them. I've seen Milo Yiannopoulos. Yeah, I've seen him, Diamond Killer. He's an entertaining speaker. I like listening to him. Oh, okay, here we go. The German NetzDG is a law that forces social media websites to delete hate speech, but it can easily be used for censorship. Oh, wow. Yeah, see that I would have a huge problem with that before. Holy hell. I wasn't even aware. Yeah, but of course it's going to be used for censorship. And that's why I don't like any vagueness in the laws of free speech in general, like we talked about earlier. When you say, well, unless it's really offensive. Well, what the fuck does that mean? Everybody's got a different definition of what's really offensive. So if it's really offensive, don't listen to it. Walk away from it. Don't be a part of it. But you don't get to stop people from saying it. Who did I vote for in 2016? Diamond Killer? I voted for Trump. And it wasn't strictly just an anti-Hillary vote, although I don't like Hillary. It was simply the same reason I vote for a politician every election. He has more platforms, more platitudes with which I agree than did Hillary. So I made it pretty simple. Yeah, I heard Vern Troyer died. That was sad. I enjoyed him. Germany's been fucked for a long time. There's still Stasi members in Merkel's government. I've heard that before, Chrome. I've heard other people saying that. Again, you guys got to remember, I'm an American. This is one of my pet peeves over here. I get more good international news from our live streams every day because we have an international crew here than you get from mainstream media over here. Our mainstream media, everybody included, you know, I'm not pointing fingers at anybody, but the mainstreams, the upper end with the most viewers news outlets are all about clicks. And basically their stance is what happens overseas doesn't generate a ton of clicks, but talking about Stormy Daniels' titties does. And so that's what we get over here. It drives me nuts. I do like Joe Rogan. Yes, I do. See, I'll listen to anybody have a conversation if they're a good conversationalist from either side of the aisle. I'll listen to anybody. Again, Alex isn't. I'm not a big fan of because he's just too over the top. So him I don't listen to. But if they're willing to even be reasonable at any level, I'll listen to anybody. I enjoy that. Now we have celebrities like Oprah saying they want to run for president. Yeah, Lex. Oprah's backed down from that, which I think is a good thing. I don't dislike Oprah at all. I mean, hey, you got to give Oprah credit. She went from nothing to being one of the richest people on the planet, wildly successful. She's got a wonderful personality. As a person, I like her. As a politician, I don't think I would, just from what I know of her political views. And I want to say this because I don't want to sound mean. I genuinely don't. I really like Oprah. But she never struck me as an intellectual, though. She just, one of the parts of her appeal was she was very down to earth. Is that the nice way to put it? But yeah, I couldn't see myself voting for her, although I think she's a wonderful person. Mega Ultrasonic says, I'm a liberal, but glad Trump got elected. Hillary would have just damaged the liberals' platform when they already did in the 2016 election cycle. A lot of people think that's true, Mega Ultrasonic. I don't think you're necessarily wrong. I think Hillary is so polarizing. I think you're right. Put it this way, if Hillary had gotten elected, I think these midterm elections coming up right now would give, I think it would have given the Republicans a supermajority in both houses. I really do. I really do. Yeah, I think you're right. If you're a liberal, you're probably right. You guys probably, as much as people don't want to admit it, you probably dodged the bullet there. View on hate speech or racist speech. Whoa, Ma says. Hate speech laws are fucking idiotic. Agreed. Simply put, people are allowed to hate whoever they want for whatever reason they want. Not allowing those people to express those views allows them to grow. I'm completely in agreement with you, Maz. 100% down the line. Gojira and I want to know if you watch Dave Rubin. The name is familiar, Cheyenne, but I can't place him. If hold on, let me Google search him real quick. If I see him, I might recognize him. But the name is familiar. Oh, I have seen him. I don't know a lot about him. American political commentator, comedian, talk show host. The Rubin Report. No, I don't know a lot about him. I'd be more than willing to watch him. check up on him, but I have seen him, but not enough to even know what his, his basic ideology is. I knew I'd heard the name, and when I saw his picture, he looked familiar, but no, I don't know a lot about him. Let's see. Curse. I was planning on reading some Naruto manga, but this is too interesting. I'm glad you're with us, fine. The midterms have swapped the party in power in Congress every election since the very first one. It's amazing, isn't it, Prism? Only 2 haven't, and both have been under extreme national crises. The Dems will likely take the House. Yeah, I think you're right. People talk about that, and they talk about the blue wave crashing and all. It's like, okay, if you want to call it the blue wave, that's fine. What it is it's typical politics. I will say this. I think and the polls, for whatever they're worth, to be honest, I don't put a lot of value in them. But for whatever they're worth, the 2018 generic congressional polls, the gap used to be pretty wide for the Dems. They were way ahead. It shrunk a lot, and I think as long as the left keeps pumping up people like David Hogg and some of those other kids from Parkland, I think you're going to see that gap closing more and more and more, because the guns right issue is a hot topic item. And right after that tragedy, you had a lot of people willing to say, okay, we got to do something. More and more people are now moving away from that. We got to do something, because they see more and more of the people the left is throwing in their face, giving every indication that what they want to do is grab guns. Whether that's the people on the left can say all day long, no, it's just about keeping them out of the hands of those who don't have them. But as soon as you hear that, you can find 5 more people who are saying get them all. And I think that's why you're seeing that balance change. They may not be taking control of Congress as easy as it looked just a couple months ago. Oh, Dave Rubin we're talking about. Cheyenne says he does amazing interviews. He's classical liberal and good friends with Ben. Though they disagree somewhat, have fantastic interviews on YouTube. I'll try to remember to check them out, Cheyenne, because those rare occasions I have a little extra time, I watch a lot of political conversation and stuff. I don't know how to be honest, I don't know how I've missed them with as much as I watch. I'll try and remember to check them out. Maz says, oh, Sargon of Akkad speaks from the protest is on YouTube. Oh, we were talking about that earlier. Sargon of Akkad on free speech at Count Dankula event. Blah, blah, blah. All right, hold on. Let me I can't watch it right now, but let me get it called up and put into and throw a bookmark on it. Come on. Come on, Google Chrome, what the hell? I think Google Chrome is trying to censor my free speech, not let me do what I want to do. Shit, I didn't get it. Orwellian Britain 2018. I don't think that's it, though. Let me take some of the words out and see if I can find it. Sargon of Akkad, a hero of free speech. Now, that's 1 year ago, so that won't do me any good. Shh. You know what? Oh, let me just go to his. It's got to be on his channel, right? The Weak and Stupid. Crap. I'm not finding it. But what I'm going to do, I'm gonna bookmark his YouTube channel. Got it. Because I would like to see that when it comes out. I searched those terms and I got one video only popped up, and it seemed to be relatively unrelated. Here in Pennsylvania, they're arming teachers with buckets of rocks. Yeah, I heard about that, member berries. Now my teacher has a bucket of rocks under her desk and had one in the closet. That just boggles the mind. I mean, okay, I understand that. Not everybody's for allowing the teachers to be armed. But what the hell? Okay, the rocks, whatever. Jeez. That was just... It would be more laughable if it wasn't so tragically stupid, I guess. But see, I didn't have a problem with that. I had a problem with the way the arming the teachers was presented. My personal stance is on that. I think it's a good thing to allow teachers that want to go get their concealed carry permit to conceal carry on campus. I don't think they should ever in any way be considered a line of defense. I think what it should be is they should be allowed because they've done whatever needs be done by the local laws to prove that they are competent and capable to conceal carry. If something bad happens, I don't see how that can be a bad thing. How can it be a bad thing to have a teacher as last line of defense? That's the way I saw that. Find it hilarious. Politics stream mostly Naruto related bans. Is it high? Because I don't see who's getting banned. They'll never leave us high. We want to talk about freedom of speech, and people are still in here trying to spoil Naruto for me. That's the power of the brilliance of the internet. Oh my God. Yeah, that's real, Chrome. And that's absolutely real. In Pennsylvania, they said they were going to give the teachers buckets of rocks. So when that guy comes in with a gun, the class can fire rocks at him. And again, anything is fighting back. But why that stupidity? I mean, why not give something, anything that would be an actual tool of destruction against the person, not just, oh, wow, you hit me with a rock. You know, I don't know. Yeah, that's what we need is a bunch of jutsus, Bryce. We need we need the Mangekyo Sharingan in every class is what we need. Just put them under Genjutsu and be done with them. Yeah, that was the state of Pennsylvania pulled that one, Pew Dude. Andy went really well for Spaz Kid Fine. Thanks for asking. He did really well as Daddy Warbucks. Spoiler, Toby is actually gets sniped by mods. Yeah. Our mods, well, you know that, Wolverine. Our mods are on top of things. Andrew Wilson says, are they crack rocks? Because that's a fucking retarded idea. Yeah. And it's legit. It really happened, Andrew. I know we talk about things like that, and it's like, no, can't be. But it was a legitimate thing. Yeah. Oh, good. Thank you, Maz. Link the speech on Patreon. Thank you. As soon as I get done with this, I got to run Spaz Kid over to a local community here. He's got something he needs to pick up for school. As a matter of fact, I got to go shortly. I wanted this to last a lot longer. But when I get back home, I'll check it because I always check my messages when I get back home. I agree, Stephanie. Outside of, again, as Stephanie said, no speech should be censored. Outside of, again, any speech that directly encourages people to harm others in any way, I agree, which is the current law. Which version of Ceres? I have no idea, Mega. That was made for me. I didn't make that one. That was made for me. They should give them a taser, like a tranquilizer, or maybe something knock them out. Yeah, Griffin. I mean, something that would actually have an effect. Maybe, yes, maybe. Good point. If you don't want guns with bullets, maybe a tranquilizer gun or something. You're right. Shoot a little, elephant tranquilizer into them or something. But I'm not sure what they plan on accomplishing with rocks. When Stanford invites you to the scholar program, but money is hard. Oh, Stanford? Wow, Prism. They're a longtime rival of my Irish, but still a rival that I have to respect because of their academics. And they've helped me out a lot on the hypnosis side with some research they did into hypnosis that has opened a lot of doors for me, things that I had wondered about hypnosis itself. So I'm an admirer. So do you think a porn star should be allowed to be a high school teacher? Do I find? Yes, I do. I don't think something like that in your past. I mean, okay, so you used to be a porn star. I don't think that should be a determining factor on whether or not you are capable and adept to instruct school children. That's my personal opinion. I think Member Barry says, I think teachers should be allowed guns if they pass the proper checks and everything, but they should be required to have the gun and lockbox in their desk and have the keys on the wrist. I agree with that completely, Member Barry's. Obviously, I think the gun should absolutely be well secured. But right, if they've gone through the steps it takes to have a concealed carry license, I don't see what it harms. My whole stance on that, and I don't think if they intended to do it this way, they didn't explain it well. The teacher should not be considered a line of defense. They should have those weapons just in case all the other defense fails. I think that's a lot better than giving them a bucket of rocks or making them sitting ducks. Monroe would be defeated with a bucket of rocks. Right, Adam. There you go. Yeah. That would be great. Get right to the end of the fourth great ninja war, and Monroe sitting there, ow, goddamn, ow, what the, ow, and he runs off, never to be seen again. Well done. I don't believe in hate speech either, Mario. I mean, technically speaking, can some speech be hate speech? Sure. I guess if you're talking about how you intensely dislike another group, it's hate speech. Should it be illegal? No. You should have your right to dislike whoever you want to dislike, and everybody else can just, turn their head away from you. Yeah, people do. You're right. People do tend to look at porn. Who said it? Chethanker? Yeah, Chethanker says, I don't know why people look at porn like some sort of crime. Me either. It's a thing. And it's, for a lot of people, it's a living. So, what the hell? Let's see. Do you like Ted Kennedy? We're still not about Ted Kennedy, the former Navy SEAL? I don't know him either, Gojira. As soon as you said Ted Kennedy, I was thinking the politician. Oh, I'd have to look him up, too. Boy, I'm missing out on a lot. Exactly. That's what we said. Coda Catalan says, hey, Curtis, I just got here and I saw the censorship thing. Question is, who decides to get censored? That's what we've been talking about, and that's why I personally am not for any type of censorship. Again, outside of somebody asking for others to be harmed in any way, I'm not for any type of censorship, because exactly what you said. Who decides what the censorship will be? And it's the ultimate, as far as I'm concerned, it's the ultimate slippery slope. Let's see. Is this stream on the back end of the Count Dankula trial? Somewhat, Lauren. We've talked about this on several occasions in streams, but yes, the Count Dankula thing kind of reinvigorated it. Yeah, absolutely. The IRA is an Irish Republic Army? Sure, Captain Levi. Sure. Japanese are lame censoring their porn. Yeah, that's kind of funny, isn't it, Christian? Because the Japanese are like typically so much more open-minded than are we here in America. That's always struck me as kind of weird. This is the first thing I've seen someone talk about politics. We actually have political streams every so often, Chaos Gamer. This one was specifically about free speech, but we have general political streams every so often. I enjoy them. I love talking to you guys about these things. Let's see. I'm for censorship to a degree, Prism says. General outline for it maybe in a case-by-case offense. Nothing to be locked up for, though. At worst, a fine. See, I'm not even for that, Prism. Again, censorship to what degree? When you make a law, we can't allow them to be vague. So what do you censor? You see what I'm saying, Prism? So censorship of what? Give me an example. What would be something that you think someone should be fined for saying? I don't agree with that at all. Again, outside of somebody calling for harm against others, what would you say in your mind would constitute somebody getting a fine for having said? And then again, once you say, okay, well, just if it's so overtly offensive, well, who gets to decide? Because people on one side of the political aisle are going to have a different view on that than people on the other side of the political aisle. Tokyo tried to pass a law making most fan service manga anime video legally porn a few years back. Really? Wow, I guess they do censor more things than do we here. Holy crap. The Japanese censored their porn like that to get past dumb porn export rules. Oh, really? That the Republican Congress had in the 90s. Always voted against the GOP because their porn were free. I didn't know that, Prism. I wonder why they haven't relieved that then, or changed that rule, because it's not the case here anymore in America, obviously, because ours is uncensored. I didn't know that. You give an inch and they'll take them out. Yeah, well, that's Chrome. That's what I mean. When you have people from the extreme left saying that on a forum, on a stage, in front of followers, you really hurt your opinion. It's absolutely this. Mega ultrasonic. This is good. You know what I think of censorship? It's absolutely. This message has been censored by SJWs. Ma says, I don't even think that speech that encourages violence towards a certain group should be illegal. If someone kills a bunch of people, the killer is the guilty party, not someone yelling racist. See, that's where we part a little bit. I don't think you should be allowed to go out there and say, I want to make it ludicrous, so I'm not picking on anybody legitimately. I don't think you should be able to go out there and say, left-handed people are wrong. There's no reason to be left-handed. I want you to go out there, and if you see a left-handed person, punch them in the face. They need to be taken. No, I don't believe in that. I don't think you should be allowed to say that, because everybody, I think, has an inalienable right to live without fear of being attacked. And I think that just completely circumvents that. That's my opinion. As much as I am all about free speech, I don't want to take it that step. I don't think that's fair. Cheyenne says, I just sent a huge message to your Twitter DM, but it's really important. When you do have time reading it, when you're trying to read it on the stream, please do. I'm ending the stream right now to get Brax over to his appointment before I can. Let me take a look at it really quick here, guys. Because typically what I do is right after the stream, well, now it'll be after I get back, because I've got a message I got to check on the Patreon as well. Let's see. Let's see if I'll try and read. Oh, it's too. I don't know if I'll have enough time to get through all this on the stream, Cheyenne. Here's my story. In 2013, I started reading this site called Sofrep. It's a website where... Oh, yeah. Oh, I read this. Okay, hold on. So it's got to be after this. Hold on. I read that. Okay, this was it. Second one. I don't always agree with Ben Shapiro. I agree with him 98% of the time, just a few things we differ on. But I love and support him so much because he's doing the work people hate. He's hitting hard with facts. I agree. People don't want that. They want what makes them feel good inside. They don't want to face up to facts that don't make them feel righteous or don't make them feel like they're completely right all the time. I agree. People say Ben oversimplifies things. I disagree. Yes, I do as well. I think he explains things quickly, but when you see him pushed, he can go very well into depth about what he's talking about. I also like that he separates his personal beliefs from what he believes government should do. He's just extremely well spoken. Another thing is that he's completely open to debate. Whereas the left tries to shut opinions down, the left, not liberals per se, because of their offensive nature, Ben says if you disagree with him, to get in front of the line so he can have a great discussion with you, and I love that. That's true. He does do that. He treats people with respect and honestly does well. If there's one person I wish I could sit down and have a 20-minute conversation with, it would be Mr. Ben Shapiro. Free speech is also a problem here at Georgetown. I put out on Snapchat that I was happy to be a Republican in this liberal hellhole, and 20 people reported me for hate speech. There you go. There's an example, gang. Oh my God. I had to have police escorts to class for a week because people would throw rocks at me and chase me. I don't let it get to me, though. I keep talking about what I think, and I don't do it to rile people up. I do it because I refuse to be silenced by a majority. Good for you. I'm an outcast here now. One of my only friends is the son of Trump's former communications director. He and I feel extremely attacked here on campus, like when my professor called me racist for ice work. By the way, I wore that jacket to class along with my Build the Wall shirt, and he started rampaging against them about how hateful speech and opinions will not be tolerated in his class from that day forward. And when I asked him to define what hateful meant, he couldn't give me a straight answer. He called me a racist again, that I was a white female afraid of other races because I'd have my authority taken away from me. Yeah. And now that there's a non-white population growing in the U.S. He said, that's why I want to work for ICE, because I have a feeling of white inferiority. I then informed him that I'm actually Native American, as I am certified one-quarter Apache Indian. I'm not white. He threatened to have me escorted out of class, but I left, and a girl threw a water bottle at me, and people clapped. So fuck that class, fuck that professor. Sorry it's so long, but I'm out of money. I have to run up to work now. Bye, y'all. Keep your heads up. If that happened to my child, there would have been a problem at that campus. I can guarantee you that. Absolutely guarantee you that I would have been on that until the day I died. That would have been a problem. It would have been a major, major problem, and there would have been major fallout. I'm not going to go out there and say what of some sort. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not threatening anybody. I'm saying it would have been addressed, and by major fallout, I mean I would have gone to every news agency I could find, anything I could do to get people fired over that. Censorship. Fucking cunt bitch. Logan Paul, Chokage says. Notice me. Continue below. Ma says, problem with that is that people already threaten groups of people with violence. How often do you hear that some political group should be killed? Threats towards individuals are a different subject. Yeah, and I agree, Maz, that it happens. I still don't believe in that, though. I just don't believe you should be able to threaten other groups with violence. Because we know that there are people that want to perpetrate violence against other people. I don't think those people should be allowed to recruit. Not verbally, out in the open for everyone to consume. That's just my opinion. I agree with you. Yes, it goes on all the time, and there are definitely people that want to commit violence against others. I don't think they should be able to go out in public, use their freedom of speech to recruit others to hurt people as well. Guys, I'm sorry. I knew that I was going to be sad. I had to leave this one. I got to get Spaz Kid over to the neighboring community. He's got to get to the store before my wife gets home. Because our staff leaves, and we got to be here with my disabled daughter. I love having this conversation. If you guys want to continue this again, just let me know in the streams. We can revisit this again, but we'll be having our regular political streams as well, rotated in, just the way we had talked about doing. So during this week, there will be another political stream. You guys are more than welcome to bring this topic or any other up again. This was a lot of fun. I really, really enjoyed this. Thank you guys, everybody who contributed, everybody who just sat and watched. everybody who chatted along with us. I appreciate it so much. I enjoy these so much. I can't tell you, especially being able to get perspectives from all over the world. You guys are the absolute best. I enjoy this type of thing so immensely. But again, I'll see you guys as soon as I can. Until then, yeah, pamfu, but more importantly, we'll goosh, okay? It's going to be if someone is watching this stream till the end and they just heard me say that, and they're like, what's goosh? Don't search it. Please don't search it.